So if you're an owner of a home in the Lehigh Valley and you're thinking to yourself, how long is it actually going to take me to sell my home? But really, there are two main ways to sell your home and the speed at which you can sell that home. Today, we're talking about how quickly can you actually sell your home. Well, there it comes down to a few key factors, and we're going to go through them today. If we haven't met before, my name is John Cummings. I'm with That Life Property Solutions. Me, my wife, my four boys, we go all across the Lehigh Valley and we're fixing flipping homes. We're renting them out, but mainly we're here to help you, the homeowner, to try and give you some advice and some real world examples to help you navigate the home selling process. Well, if you tell us, we can do it super quick. Boom, right? Now, really, you see these signs, you probably get our mailers. You probably got my mailer, right? That's why you're probably on this video right now, is you got one of my mailers saying, we're thinking about buying your home. It piqued your interest, right? So you want to see how does this all work? Largely depends on which option you choose, and then when you choose an option. So you choose one of these options, and then based on those options, there are little mini options that you have to go through to see how quickly that home is going to sell. So let's go with option one. That is to sell your home on the MLS or list it with an agent, real estate agent. I'm a licensed agent in Lehigh Valley. I'm working with Better Homes and Gardens, Gaston Realty, so I have all of the tools that an agent would use. I've been trained the same way as an agent. I know exactly what they're gonna do. But if you go to list your home, there's a lot of things that you're gonna wanna take into consideration before you call an agent, right? And they're gonna tell you the same thing. He'll probably ask you a lot of the same questions. They're gonna ask you the age, the condition, blah, blah, blah. Like it's a very standard process. But realistically, the way it's gonna work is you're gonna call an agent and then you're gonna say, hey, I'm thinking about selling my home. And then they're gonna have you sign some sort of agreement, an agency agreement, come take a look at your home, and they're gonna give you some sort of valuation based on comps. These comps are pulled through comparable sales comps, and they try to do as close as possible to your home, sold in the last 6 months usually, then depending on your area, within maybe a quarter mile, if that. And this process can probably take, really, if you call me, it'll take about an hour. I can probably do it on the phone. Usually schedule in a day or two to get that all done. Maybe a week if you had a really busy agent. But then, they're gonna give you this, you're gonna think about it, you're gonna sign the contract and say, okay, let's go think about putting it on the market. But there might be some prep work that you need to do ahead of time if you wanna get that highest and best value, right? And that's gonna be a key point of this whole video is, do you need to get the highest and best value? Even if you list, right? Even if you don't sell as is, if you wanna get your highest and best value, there are usually things that you're gonna have to do. You might need to hire a cleaner, you might need to paint, you might need to do basic repairs, maybe you have to do major repairs, right? You might have to pull permits for work you already did. I actually just purchased property in Bethlehem that I'm looking to resale now. It turns out that a property owner before that did not pull a permit for the mini split systems that they had. And now I was about to, relist it, but now I have to go back to get the certificate of occupancy just to get those permits, right? And I might have to do some work just to do that. These are things that you don't think about. These occupancy changes and these inspections change frequently. So, these little things might pop up. Again, just understand that this is part of the listing and selling process. You might have to do some, depending on the things that you have to do, could extend your timeline significantly. It could be between a week to 2 months, right? Depending on the work you're gonna do. If you wanna get that highest and best value, right? So you do your work, you have the contract, now you're ready to get pictures. So pictures, again, usually take about a day or two to schedule it with your agent. Usually they'll have a photographer. If they come in with their cell phone, I'm telling you, do not sign the contract with them. They need to get the pictures professionally done. If they're not gonna get the pictures professionally done, do not use them. That's just the best recommendation I give you, because they're not doing the best work for you. But they'll, usually our photographer comes in within 2 days, takes his pictures, you get them next day, and then you put it up on the list. That can be done in a day. So as it stands right now, we're talking about 2 weeks at minimum, usually, from start to finish, from your first initial thought to it's listed, if you want to go really quick. Usually I see this done in about 3 weeks to a month. That's usually the standard from what I see, from initial call to, all right, it's listed and it's on the market. Once it's on the market, this is basically phase 2 on the market. And so what happens when it's on the market? It blasts out to every agent in Lehigh Valley, right? Every agent is now working for you to find a buyer. You're gonna have to schedule showings, right? Usually showings will last, based on the current days on market, which I believe is about 14 days to 20 days or so, which is fairly quick. Maybe 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago now, it was about 60 days, right? So you're looking at 2 months. In the market we're in right now, you're talking about 14 to 20 days on market before you get an offer. So now we're at about 3 months or so, maybe less than that, maybe a month and a half, 2 months from initial to when you have an offer. Maybe you have one offer, maybe you have multiple offers. At that point, depending on your offers, you get a really strong, if your house is great, priced right, and you get a lot of offers, okay, you pick your best one. You probably take your day or two to get that. And if you have really strong offers, you could probably close in the next 30 days. If there's less contingencies, maybe even less. I usually don't see it less than 20 days it's on the market. So scheduling another 20 days. So from start to finish, in this market we're in right now, we're looking at 3 to 4 months in the general range from initial call to, all right, I'm sold. It's probably about 3 to 3.5 months. Okay, so now we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna go to option number 2. And that's selling as is to someone like me. So one of the most common misconceptions that I hear when selling as is that we're just stealing your home and it's just a complete waste of money, provide no value. And that's completely untrue for most. I will definitely say that there are, again, just like there are good and bad agents, there are good and bad investors out there. Again, it's the 80-20 principle, right? Most of us are out there doing good business and we're trying to help you. And again, we work with a lot of people and we'll tell them flat out, don't work with us. If you don't need a lot of repairs and you're okay and you have all the time in the world to sell, there's really not a lot of point to work with us unless you just really want convenience, which sometimes is the case. We do work with sellers that just want the convenience. They don't want to show, they don't want to do 50 showings. They don't want to have to move their dogs out of the house every time to do a showing. They don't want to have to displace their small children every time to do a showing. Right? They don't have to leave their house for 2 days on the weekend so they can do showings all day on Saturday and Sunday, or an open house for 3 hours. A lot of owners don't want to do that. So even if they is in reasonable good shape, they don't need a lot of repairs and they have time to sell, sometimes they just want that convenience. If you go to that option number 2 and selling as is, and you give us a call, you could be done and sold from initial phone call to at the closing table in a week is the absolute fastest if there are absolutely no issues. 2 weeks, most likely. If you need it done soon, we can absolutely get it done in 2 weeks from initial call. I will see you, if you give me a call, I will see you personally within 24 hours, if not sooner. Or if I can't see you within 24 hours, someone on my team will see you within 24 hours, or I will make you an offer over the phone. One way or the other, we will get you an offer within 24 hours. That is a guarantee, 100% going to happen. If you accept that offer, we can schedule a closing date whenever you want. The only thing that it hinges upon is the title company. So the title company is always going to perform their search on any property we work with to make sure that there are no liens or encumbrances on the property. This always has to happen before a transfer. But beyond that, as soon as the title company says we're good to go, we are good to close. And I've closed homes in 7 days. And it works well with anybody that's in foreclosure or has a pending sale date. And if you do, and even if the sale date is tomorrow, if you have a foreclosure and the sale date is tomorrow, we can still save you from foreclosure. We've done it before and we can do it again. It takes a lot of running around and a lot of work, but we can do it. How fast can you sell a home in Lehigh Valley? Well, if you want the highest and best, you're probably looking at 3.5 to 4 months with listing it. If you're okay with losing some of that equity and selling for convenience and haste, then we can do it in 7 days at the soonest, but most likely 2 weeks, depending on, again, title searches. I hope that this video helped you to learn a little bit about the home selling process. I didn't get into too much of the nitty gritty, but just basic speed, right? That's how fast you could be selling your home. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and reach out if you think you're interested in exploring both options. Again, it's really no pressure. If we think that you shouldn't work with us, we will tell you. My wife will not allow me to take advantage of anybody. Trust me, and I don't want to. I have 4 boys at home. I have to teach them the right way to do business. We're out there to help you, the homeowner. So please give us a call and we'll point you in the right direction. All right, thanks guys.